Johnny Depp vs. Amber Heard. Full event story. The conflict between famous Hollywood actors Johnny Depp and Amber Heard has been lasting for over 6 years since the first trial. In June 2022, the jury finally delivered its verdict in favor of Depp, but some tabloids believe that Heard isn't going to give up and may appeal. Recall that all along, Amber accused her ex-husband of domestic violence and substance abuse. In turn, Johnny denied everything and wanted to restore his damaged reputation. How did it happen that such a beautiful and successful Hollywood couple found themselves at the center of a notorious scandal? Story of acquaintance. Fittingly, Heard and Depp met on a movie set. In the Rom Diary shooting in 2009, they played a couple in love and then continued relations beyond the movie characters. Although at that time, Depp was dating Vanessa Paradis and Heard with the photographer and artist Tasia Van Ree. By the way, just before meeting Johnny, Amber announced her coming out. The Rom Diary wasn't a success. It was a star romance, not a movie that was mostly discussed. Magazines and newspapers widely discussed the newlyweds, who were often seen in public and looked quite happy. Who could foretell that the marriage would last 18 months only? Divorce and the first trial. In 2016, the couple broke up, and later it was revealed that in fact it was Depp who initiated the divorce, but Heard managed to get ahead of him and be the first one to file all the necessary documents. Almost immediately after the first news about it appeared, Amber came out with bruises on her face. She openly stated that it was her ex-husband to blame for her condition and proved it with photos and videos of Depp being drunk and destroying everything around. The actress claimed that Johnny abused drugs and alcohol all the time, abusing her morally and physically. In the summer of 2016, the actress decided to settle everything without involving lawyers. Amber agreed to withdraw her statement from the police, and Johnny paid her $7 million as compensation. However, Heard publicly refused the paid amount and promised to give the money to charity. Later, the public found out that no charitable foundations had received any payments. A new conflict. In 2018, Amber Heard initiated a new scandal by publishing an article in the famous American newspaper, The Washington Post. In it, she claimed that she had been harassed in school, but it was later that she learned the full force of male rage and instability. She didn't openly mention Depp's name, but it wasn't necessary. The actress urged the public to pay close attention to the problem and don't ignore it, as modern women who decide to speak out have to risk themselves, their careers, and family. Interestingly, the article was published right before the premiere of Aquaman, a new movie where Heard appeared. At the very same time, the social movement for women's rights Me Too was gaining popularity. The article attracted attention to both the movie and the movement. Depp's lawyers responded immediately. They filed a lawsuit for $50 million and accused Heard of slander. The actress accepted the challenge and brought shocking details of their personal life in court. According to Heard, drugs and alcohol kept Johnny inadequate almost all the time. He always shouted and broke furniture in the house, broke bottles, dragged the girl by the hair, beat and suffocated her. Later, the actor asked to forgive him and claimed his love. Amber also told the court that Johnny was always jealous of her and other actors. In particular, she mentioned James Franco, whom she met on the set of Pineapple Express. According to Heard, it was the culmination of jealousy when Depp deliberately cut his hand and began writing Billy Bob Thornton's name on the wall with his blood. It was the actor who appeared in London Fields with the actress. Amber announced in court that Johnny had been jealous of Billy for a long time without any apparent reason. An article in The Sun. In this escalating situation, the Sun tabloid decided to pour oil on the flames. In one of the issues in 2018, it published an article calling Depp a rapist and the man who abused his wife. The tabloid also appealed to J.K. Rowling, calling to fire such a cruel actor from the Fantastic Beasts. Johnny sued the magazine, but lost the case. The judge considered the wording used in the Sun's text correct and supported by reliable information. The later appeal also failed. The failure in court was a heavy blow to Depp's reputation. Warner Bros. Replaced him with Matt Mikkelsen in a new part of Fantastic Beasts, broke the contract, and asked him not to claim roles in future parts of the series. In turn, Walt Disney Studio refused to cooperate with the actor and announced that they will work on a new part of Pirates of the Caribbean without Depp. He was no longer invited to new movies and creative projects. The actor's agent Jack Wiggum told the court that this cost Johnny $22.5 million he didn't receive. However, the litigation with the tabloid gave the public a new cause for reflection. People started doubting Amber Heard's story. Thus, records of a telephone conversation between Depp and Heard were brought in court. In them, the actress pleaded guilty to beating and insulting her husband, although in the court she always spoke only about Johnny's abuse. Depp's lawyers managed to prove that Amber often took ecstasy and shrooms. An unnamed witness confirmed it. The actor claimed that his wife always provoked conflicts, threw objects at him, cheated on him right in their bed, and once even stained the bed with her feces during another scandal. After the judge asked why Depp didn't file for divorce, the star actor answered that Heard threatened to commit suicide if he dared to leave her. The further proceedings revealed that Johnny's jealousy did really have grounds. According to a few witnesses, as well as photo and video evidence obtained by the lawyers, while married to Depp, Amber dated Elon Musk, now the richest man on the planet. The actress' relations with British supermodel Cara Delevingne were also confirmed. The movement to support Johnny Depp were gaining popularity on the web. They were reinforced in 2021, when the actor's team managed to prove that Heard didn't give the $7 million paid to her in summer 2016 to any charitable organizations. The lawyers provided financial documents that proved that the actress made off with the money. The final trial wave. In spring 2022, attention of the fans and those just interested in the case was attracted by the next round of the Bigger Fest. This time, a verdict was delivered. The hearing was significantly different from the previous ones. First, it was open and broadcast worldwide via YouTube. Second, the final decision was made by the jury. Third, the actor's relatives, friends and colleagues were invited to testify for the first time. Psychologists and lawyers who followed the trial noted that from the very first hearings, Depp managed to win over the jury. He joked, was extremely polite and tactful to his ex-wife, and didn't try to avoid the questions or justify himself. At the same time, Heard was too emotional. In just a few seconds, she changed from a victim of abuse with tears, stumbling telling and other attributes to concentration and close observation of the jury. Amber insisted on being regularly abused by Depp. At the trial, the actress reported a case when after a fight, her husband raped her with a bottle. Heard claimed that due to the terrible situation at home, she began to visit a psychologist who recorded all of Amber's stories. To prove her point, Amber showed the jury Depp's correspondence with his friend, in which Johnny promised to burn Heard, rape her corpse, and drown her so that this witch wouldn't rise from the dead. It was also revealed that almost right after the wedding, the actor repeatedly interacted and dated another woman whose name Amber didn't call. The actress also demonstrated the photos of her unconscious ex-husband sleeping on the floor with a box of cocaine-looking powder lying nearby. Johnny confirmed the authenticity of all the angry messages and demonstrated photos and told the court that he had specific character and sense of humor, and the mentioned addictions are really the bane of his life. Amber Heard told the court that she was far from the only victim of Johnny's cruelty. The actress exemplified it with a case that allegedly happened to Kate Moss, Depp's ex-girlfriend. According to Heard, when they were married, Depp drunkenly pushed Kate down the stairs. Amber also said that she asked help from Isaac Barrack, the administrator of the estate where the couple lived. And he could see how depressed she was and how much she cried. Testimony in Depp's favor. After the grave accusations made by Heard's team of lawyers and herself, the case took a very unexpected turn. Depp's former partners, Winona Ryder, Vanessa Paradis, and Kate Moss, defended him. Vanessa noted that Johnny by his nature just couldn't raise his hand to a woman, no matter what condition he was in. And Moss spoke after Heard told the court about the case with the stairs. Kate told the jury that Depp never raised his hand to her, and all of Amber's accusations are blatant lies. After that, the process was almost completely out of Heard's control. The mentioned Isaac Baruch also warmed up the interested public. The administrator confirmed that Amber came to him crying, but he didn't see any bruises or other signs of blows on her, let alone the torn tufts of hair mentioned by Hard's lawyers. Depp's personal doctor also testified that he stitched his injured finger. According to the actor, he was injured after another outburst of his ex-wife's anger when she threw a bottle at him. A splinter bounced off the wall and cut off Johnny's fingertip. A few other witnesses confirmed Amber's regular mood swings. Depp's personal bodyguards, who appeared in court many times, heard Heard yelling at her husband, calling him a worthless old man, throwing various objects, and beating him. They advised Johnny to go to the police and record the bruises on his body, but he refused. The actress's former assistant evidenced the same. She reported that Hard could switch from calm to extremely aggressive in a split second. According to the assistant, most often it happened after the actress took certain drugs Amber always carried in her bag. There were other witnesses who testified in Depp's favor in court. For example, Depp's close friend actor Paul Bettany, as well as his sister Christy Dombrowski. Family psychotherapist Laurel Anderson, who helped the couple cope with the problems, testified as well. According to her, both parties were the abusers, but it was Amber Heard who initiated most of the fights. Anderson noted the actress' tendency to physical aggression and loss of self-control. The psychotherapist's words were confirmed by the nurse who helped Depp cope with drug addiction. On June 1, 2022, the jury delivered their verdict in favor of Johnny Depp and ordered Amber Heard to pay $15 million as compensation. This amount was later reduced to $13 million because Johnny's former lawyer took the liberty to voice a few inappropriate statements in an interview. In particular, he openly accused Amber of slander and claimed that Amber Heard and her friends in the media used fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and a shield, depending on their needs. Consequences for the parties. In an interview to Rolling Stone, Johnny Depp reported that he had lost as much as $650 million over the years of the trial. He had also lost a few major projects, some of which weren't even announced. As already mentioned, Depp was kicked out of such lucrative franchises as Fantastic Beasts and Pirates of the Caribbean. After the trial he lost to The Sun magazine, he starred in one movie only, The Great One. But it was also hastily taken away from the general release. According to Johnny Depp, he decided to resort to court to restore his reputation and succeeded. After the jury announced their decision, Depp said that he didn't want his children to read such terrible things about him. Although the actor lost a tidy sum, his future looks promising. For example, it is reported that Depp will appear in a French movie project about John de Barry. The Pirates of the Caribbean series fans were excited by the recent spectacular return of Jack Sparrow to Walt Disney Parks after the character had been removed for the trial time. Some believe that this may mean that the actor will return to his famous role in the sixth part of the franchise. Oppositely, Amber Heard is doing much worse. American newspapers reported that Amber couldn't pay the compensation of $15 million, which may lead to bankruptcy in the future. The actress complained about the threats to her family and reported concern about her daughter's safety. During the proceedings, an online petition was issued demanding that Heard be fired from the blockbuster Aquaman 2. It was signed by as many as 4.5 million people. Warner Bros. Studio was forced to react to the fans' furious reviews and cut Amber's screen time to 10 minutes, taking away almost all the important scenes. The producers explained this by no chemistry between the leading actors. It's unlikely that Heard will appear in even moderate projects anytime soon, let alone such multi-million blockbusters as Aquaman. After the trial, Amber made a public statement expressing her extreme disappointment with the jury's decision. She claimed about a step back for women all over the world, about returning to the times when a brave girl who decided to defend herself and express her opinion can be humiliated and insulted in public, and violence against her isn't taken seriously. The actress also remembered Depp's trial against The Sun magazine, whose results she believed to be more fair. However, it's not the end of the story so far. The parties' lawyers announced a meeting on June 24 for a peaceful pre-trial settlement. Depp was even ready to refuse compensation if Heard didn't appeal. But Amber doesn't want to stop and will soon appeal the court's decision. Reportedly, it may cost her over $600,000. The amount is so large due to Heard's payment delays. Given the actress's poor financial standing, one can only envy her determination. Lawyers note that a new trial may last for a few more years, especially if there are new witnesses and details in the case. And whose side are you on in this conflict? Share your opinion in the comments.